This is stinky. Ooh, this smells like, oh, this excites me. This is like you played 3 hours of basketball and you took off your sock and then you went to Wine Library's cheese department and got something that's really esoteric and like earthy, and you took a scoop of it, you put it in your stinky sock, you smashed it, you threw it against the wall, and then you went up to your wall and you smelled it. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 5 of WineText TV, brought to you by WineText.com, America's most established favorite way to buy super and just premium wines at discounted prices. I am Gary Vaynerchuk, host of WineText TV, after 1,000 episodes of Wine Library TV. Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Wine Library TV. It is super fun to be into episode 5 of WineText TV. We are talking rosé. It's getting sunny outside. It was dark for an hour because we had the eclipse, but we are past that now. And as always, we are live on Twitch. You're watching this probably on Instagram or YouTube, but if you want to catch it live, where things like Brandon dropping his phone happen, you can go to twitch.tv/GaryVee or GaryVee.com/Twitch. Rosé, 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 rosé has become a national obsession in America and has always been around parts of Europe and other parts of the world. But rosé, pink wine, in my entire career was always wines that were sweet and very lowbrow. Beringer White Zinfandel, Sutter Home One Zinfandel, $5 wines that were sweet sugar water. You could have drank soda instead of it. Dry rosé has exploded in America's consciousness over the last 25 years and really over the last 15. And on this episode, we get into all those wines because we are now into the spring. We're just on the precipice of that kind of weather. This weekend in New York, in the Northeast, we all felt that springtime in the air. And most of you will be drinking quite a bit of rosé starting today until Labor Day, even though rosé is now a wine that you should be drinking 12 months of the year because it is a tremendous substitute for what you would normally use white wine for. So we're in a new era where rosé is now a 12-month wine. I'm excited about this. We have the one that a lot of you have asked me to try, the Whispering Angel, which is one that is incredibly popular. Brandon, anything to add to the state of the union of rosé wine from your perspective?
Yeah, I think just what you touched on, drinking rosé all year round, not just in the spring and summer, and also exploring, because these are 4 different rosés from different areas all over the world, different varietals, so a lot of variety.
And so when we talk about different varietals in different parts of the world, rosé wine is fun because unlike a lot of other wines, there's a good debate of like, of course we know that Southwest France and Provence, Languedoc for rosé is an incredibly strong place, but there's great rosé, solid rosé being made throughout the world. Plus a lot of rosé is under $15 a bottle. And at some level, as you start going down the path, under 10 or 8 to 12, like a lot of it can just be done, meaning there's a lot of average rosé around the world, if I go a different way of saying it. All 4 of these, though, Brandon, that I'm looking at, premium rosés.
Yes, I would say that.
Premium rosé show, but yes, different grapes, because you can make them from a lot of different grapes and different parts of the world, which is important because the key to WineText TV is the number 1 rule about wine is keep trying new things until you find your next favorite. Keep trying new things until you find your next favorite. The number 1 mistake in wine is drinking the same thing over and over, whether it's the same wine or the same type of wine. I only drink Sauvignon Blanc. I only drink Cabernet. Huge mistake, keeps you away from the big arbitrage. And what the big arbitrage is, it's similar to my new book, pre-order it now, Day Trading Attention. I talk about in marketing and business, there's overpriced marketing and underpriced marketing. I learned that in wine. There are $100 Napa wines that stink, and there's $100 Napa wines that are remarkable, and there's $15 Alsatian wines that are terrible, and some that are remarkable, and everything in between. You can get all sorts of deals everywhere, and you can overpay everywhere. There's not one place on earth, not Burgundy, not Bordeaux. It is not universal that every Brunello is a great deal. And it is not universal that every Brunello is a bad deal. And that is the most interesting thing about wine, and even more importantly is they change every year. What's the first wine we have here, Brand?
So that's
Summer in the Bottle, Long Island,
yes.
Jets country. I give it 100 points. Summer in the Bottle, 2023 rosé, 12.4% alcohol. Suggested retail price $28, on average about $25. We sell it for $22, but you can find it for $19 to 35 depending on where you find it, correct?
Yes, and it's also crazy when you look at the pricing here. The range of pricing on these rosés all over the country is pretty wide. You'll notice on a few of them.
This is Grenache, Cinsault, and Syrah.
Yes, I think there's a few other varietals too, but those are the three big ones. Yeah.
Let me pour you some, my friend. Let's go into the sniffy sniff. So tell me what's going on with this one. I asked you to bring a couple of popular ones. It seems like this has caught a lot of heat. Summer in a bottle.
For sure, and it's from a great estate in Long Island. Many of you may know this particular wine. You know,
Wolfner is like,
yeah, huge.
Like when I tell you, when I was a kid, 17 years old, I'm like, whoa, Long Island makes wine, and I was taught by all the OG wine people, Long Island makes bad wine, except this one Wolfner producer makes decent wine. And now obviously many of Long Island's best wineries make very decent wine, and Wolfner makes very, very, very decent, if not great wines at their best. It is one of the top producers in all of America, right here on the East Coast. On the sniffy sniff, I get a little bit of peaches, fuzzy peaches, which is always like better than non-fuzzy peaches. Kind of like, you know those yellow cherries? You know the cherries that aren't red? Get a little bit of that, a little flower. Summer breeze, very aromatically pleasing. Let's give it a whirl. Really solid acidity, well structured, medium bodied. The peach flavor really comes through, but I will say that it's a, you know how peaches, like if you time them perfectly, are epic, but if you get them too early, they're like a brick? This is a little more like the brick kind, which means you're not getting as much of the sugar flavor, you're getting a little bit more of the acidity, which is fine. The body's medium to me. It's not the most complex rosé I've ever had. Rosés can really vary from like, it tastes like straight water and you might as well just get a water with some lime in it, all the way to like really interesting white wine, complex white wine flavors. It's solid. I'm not blown away with it. I've had a lot of hype on this wine. I was excited to try this. I don't know, not the biggest fan. Yeah, I'm gonna give this wine 87 points. It's a solid score. You wouldn't be offended having this wine. It's a solid wine. At 20 bucks, yeah, I mean look, one of the main things to do on WineText TV for me is to make sure that all of my wine drinking becomes valuable to you. All of our wine tasting becomes valuable to you. All those years, what am I, 48? In the last, 27 years of tasting an ungodly amount of wine translates into something that's valuable to you. Here's what I mean by that. This is a very solid rosé. Every one of you that goes to the Hamptons this year and orders this, you will be fine. It's more than lovely. You're not gonna be paying attention to the rosé anyway. You're gonna be looking at people's outfits and people watching and trying to pair it up with your salmon. Like, you'll be fine. If you told me gun to the head, I wanna have like really good rosé and I wanna get as many of them under $22 a bottle, can you give me a case? This is not making my 12 bottles. I'll give you 12 different bottles that are, and I gotta make you as much savings on $22. I'm gonna put a bunch of 12, 13, 14, $15 rosés that I've tasted that I'm more excited about. But a solid wine, 87 points, that's the punchline. Let's keep it moving. 2022 Whispering Angel Rosé, 89 points. Wine Enthusiast, 89 points. Robert Parker, 88 points. Wine Spectator, 91 points. James Suckling, probably one of the most popular wines in the world right now, definitely in the rosé category. Any thoughts to add to Whispering Angel's dominance in the last decade of sales, Brandon, since you're a wine retailer?
Yeah, I would say it's in that same realm, more so than Summer in a Bottle. Probably one of the more asked about rosés every year. And I'll mention that this is 22, but 23 should be coming in. 22, 23, both on the market.
Yeah, that's right. Good call out. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Aromatically, it's more interesting than Summer in the Bottle for me. It's got more of a kind of a orange peel, beautiful strawberry on the nose. Aromatically, pretty exciting wine in comparison. There's a little more freshness and spritz, a little jump to it, kind of like a Perrier with a ounce of like a lemon squeeze, so it's like fresh, it feels vibrant, which is great. Let's give it a whirl. Smoother wine, finishes quite strong, a little more complex as well. This is definitely a step up. I'm right in line with Wine Enthusiast and Robert Parker, 89 points. Doesn't have the complexity and the explosive deliciousness that I look for in some of my rosés, but I think all the critics are kind of in the same range, and I'm right there as well. Usually, my palate tends to be a little bit different, and sometimes I'm all over the place, but I'm in pocket here. I think it's an 89 point wine. Look, again, in a world where it's 17 on the low end at a store, at a discounter, at like a big outlet, or like some weird states where you can get a deal, this wine really much more is a $19 to $25 wine. And again, 80 or 90 or 100 on restaurant list, or like 20 bucks, 15 bucks a glass. Again, the purpose of this show, this is a solid wine. Both wines are solid. They're solid. But like, think of it like dating and marrying. Do you want to marry someone that's solid, or do you want to marry someone that's like your forever person? Maybe this one could be friends with benefits, but this is definitely a friend. Like, these are not, I'm marrying these rosés. They're like solid, but they're slightly overpriced, and I'll tell you where my energy's coming from, and this is what I want this show to be, a resource. There's a lot of Provence rosés with solid French names, or even from the Mataron or Bandol, or like, well, Bandol's expensive too, but like off the beaten path rosé, Brandon, from like weird places, Portugal, South Africa. Like, I just know too much, and there's too many $10 to $15 rosé that feels exactly like this. And so I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh my God, these are cool brands in the I mean, 83% of the wine rosé drank in the Hamptons are gonna be these two wines. Like, that's exaggerated by like 40%. And every one of them are gonna overpay for their rosé. And a lot of them are like, these are my favorite rosés. It's because you haven't tasted enough rosés. As a matter of fact, here's a fun thing to do in the Hamptons. Why don't you have a rosé party where everybody has to bring a weird rosé, put it in a brown paper bag, hang out in the back porch, everyone taste and pick their favorite. Watch how stunned you'll be that your buddy that brought an $8 rosé won. Let's move on. Daniel Crochet 2022 Sancerre Rosé, suggested retail 30, on average 23 bucks. We're $17.99, pretty good job, Brandon. Pinot Noir.
That's on the 22 vintage. 23 should be more in line with that.
Makes sense. But that's another rosé arbitrage.
Right there.
You know where I'm going.
Yes.
You know this is my biggest thesis.
Yes.
Too many people think that it's like Beaujolais Nouveau, that you have to drink the freshest new rosé. What about these wines that are made from high quality producers and not just bulk rosé wine that easily last a year or two or three, and because they're not the current vintage, can be bought for a better deal? So again, I'm gonna say this, I'm trying to leave you with little fun facts when you go into the wine store. If you're spending over 20 bucks on a rosé, you're probably gonna be able to find a better buy on a 22 than a 23. 23, everyone's getting their max amount of dollars for. But this summer and spring, when you go into stores, buying 22s is a real arbitrage. 23s are fresh. By the way, you wanna really learn about wine? Ask them if they have both. Try a 22 and a 23 of the same. See what you think. Gets fun. I love rosé that comes from Pinot Noir. The complexity of that grape does shine through in a lot of rosés. Sniffy sniff. Right away, that Pinot Noir is coming through. This is deeply the most kind of like profound, aromatic, serious nose. This is almost like red wine rosé on the nose. Little hints of cassis, which is interesting. Catches my attention. Little pineapple and mango, so it's like tropical and red. Like, I guess the best way I could put it is like, that I think will land for everybody is like, think of strawberries and cherries and raspberries mixed with mangoes and guava and pineapple. So tropical and red is what I would say it smells like. Let's give it a whirl. You like this? This is good. This is my favorite of the bunch so far. Very complex, really good acidity. Sour watermelon on the mid palate. That might be confusing to you, but like, think of the water. So you know a piece of watermelon? You know how the top is sweeter, but as you get lower, it becomes like more watered down. You may think that's bad, but it's actually very complex and an interesting flavor. I get a little bit of that. White asparagus. So again, you're getting a little vegetal thing. It's not just a fruit thing. And if you know the difference between white asparagus and green asparagus, You start imagining what that brings to the table, and beautiful strawberries and cream. This is silky, this is elegant, this is complex. This is like serious white wine drinker rosé in my opinion. Like I feel like I'll give you one. I don't know if this lands for you, Brandon, but if you like Chablis, I'm gonna predict that if you had this blind and didn't even know it was a rosé, you would like it. Very complex, very well made. I'm a big fan of this wine. I'm gonna go 92 points on this rosé. Brilliant job, great job by Daniel Crochet. I like it a lot. Domaine La Suffrene, Bandol Rosé, Bandol being one of the great regions where Sancerre is made. This is made from Grenache, Cinsault, and Carignan. 92 points, wine enthusiast. $28 SRP, on average about $27, excuse me. Wine Library sells it for $18.99, which according to Wine Searcher is the best price in the country. Good job, you and Dad. Kudos to you guys. Congratulations. Way to have the best price. Here you can have mine. Let's do a little, let's call it friend sharing wine action. My turn. Look, Bandol is very elevated. Tempier, other producers are known for rosé. One could argue that this is one of the best, if not the best place for rosé in the world.
For sure, and aging rosé too.
Correct. So again, you can go a little bit longer. This is a 2022, but again, I wouldn't be scared to drink a 2020 of this producer. And a lot of people are like, whoa, rosé, it's not fresh. You know, I think the whole, it's fresh, you gotta drink the vintage is a mistake, especially for more complex, serious wines. It's great, and look, vibrant 2023 rosé is a lot of fun, but let's give it a sniffy sniff. Stinky. This is stinky. Ooh, this smells like, ooh, this excites me. This is like you played 3 hours of basketball and you took off your sock and then you went to Wine Library's cheese department and got something from Aaron or Josh that's really esoteric and like earthy, and you put that, you took a scoop of it, you put it in your stinky sock, you smashed it, you threw it against the wall, and then you went up to your wall and you smelled it. This is stinky. This smells like me and Joe Minikawa's freshman year dorm room in like the around this time when we play a lot of basketball and did no laundry, none. Zero laundry done. Had to wait till like I charmed some girl to like do it for me because I didn't know how to do laundry. Still really don't. This is stinky. You smell it? It's blue cheese stinky.
Yeah.
It's sock and blue cheese stinky. With like a, smell it. With like a hint, show Sid's face. This is that stinky, show it. You smell the stink?
A lot of things. Yep.
Carl, stink, show Carl, watch Carly's reaction. Show the stinky.
Yeah.
It's stinky, right?
Yeah.
It's stinky, which I adore. The stinkiness is so cool. It's stinky. Let's give it a whirl. Wow, it is stinky and smooth. Holy crap, that's smooth. Wow. This is, so that sock with the blue cheese in it, when you ate it, it also was pure silk. Like you bought the most expensive silk sheets. If Louis Vuitton put out silky, silky, silky sheets, that's how smooth this wine is. This is a really interesting wine. You like it? Mm-hmm. Do you think I'm overstating the stinkiness? A little bit? I don't think so. You know, as it is opening up, I do smell a little more. Check this out. I don't know if you see a difference. A little, right? Now I'm getting a little more cantaloupe and kiwi.
It's so much different than the other three. Like,
do you notice it's less stinky now a little bit?
Not really.
Okay, no worries. That's fair. I get a little bit of a cantaloupe kiwi component coming into the stink now. It's silky smooth. Try this, it's so smooth. I like this wine. Look, to begin with, I like stinky wines, but it does go away a little bit. And the cantaloupe and the kiwi, it's smooth, right? It's, you like it, right? Look at his face, like you like it, right? Like it is smooth. It is smooth. I'm gonna go 91 points on this wine. I like this wine a lot. I think this is a really well-structured rosé, very complex. And so it's gonna be, this is number one, this is number two, this is number three, four. That's the rankings of the show. Good little rosé show. We're answering some questions. Remember, everybody watching on Instagram and YouTube, ask your wine questions and you may be on the next show. Let's do that part of the show. What do you got?
Why do you think wine gets such interest in terms of its flavor and depth and all that stuff, but not other drinks?
Well, I think other drinks do. I think we've seen that explosion in bourbon and whiskey and tequila for that matter. Vodka's the only one that really doesn't, because it's really, you know, like, so I would argue, look, the biggest thing about wine that's different than all the other spirits is it's a farming product. It changes every year. Do you know how insane that is, everyone? Imagine if Coca-Cola and Poland Spring and the Big Mac and Doritos and a Shake Shack burger and like anything else you consume changed every year. It is the only consumable product that you're like, I like this Pinot Noir. And then next year you're like, I don't like this Pinot Noir. Because it's the coolest, wine is one of the coolest things in the world. It's like a brand that changes every year. Have I run out of time?
Ray is leaving.
What's that?
Ray is leaving. You were supposed to stop by and say hi. Ray Dalio.
Oh, got it. And was I supposed to be done 5 minutes ago?
Yes.
Wonderful, I'll be there in 1 second.
Well, he's leaving right now.
Okay, should I go say bye?
Yes, I would.
Okay, I'll be right back. Sorry, Ray. Next question.
I'm from Brazil. I know that you have a special relationship with Insignia. How is it now that Napa Cab wines are skyrocketing and a lot of people are more into balanced wines than over-the-top wines?
Yeah, I mean, Insignia is a special wine to me. The 94 Insignia was one of my favorite wines of all time. 93 Insignia is one of the wines I bought so many cases. My dad was borderline scared and I sold it all. That wine we were selling for $39.99. That wine's like, how much now, Brandon?
Over 300.
It's over $300 a bottle. So, you know, my career was built on underpriced attention. Underpriced wines that got huge. Look, Napa's really challenging. It's gotten expensive. But yeah, people are looking for more balanced wines. But I don't want to downplay big bombastic wines either. There's a time and a place. I only drink balanced wines. So wait, you're telling me that you only have main courses but you've never had dessert? Like there's a time and a place. These massive bombastic Napa wines or Barossa Shirazes, like with a cigar with your buddy that you were friends with for 20 years on a summer night, shooting the breeze about your lives, that's the wine you want. I don't want something that makes me think, I want something bombastic. Going to a great steakhouse in New York where the steak is like enormous and it's juicy, or in Vegas with your boys or your girls and you like are getting a big juicy steak. I don't want a balanced Bordeaux or I want like big juicy explosive Barossa or Napa wine. So time and place. But have they gotten expensive? They have. Thank you for watching episode 5 of WineText TV. Remember, I'm trying as many wines as possible to guide you on your journey, but trust your palate. Don't like these wines because of me. Go try them and find out if our palates match. Keep trying new wines, keep exploring. We'll see you on the next episode of WineText TV.